Hey everyone. Looks like some people are getting off of clinic and will be signing on soon. We'll go ahead and get started. So this is our biannual open APP council meeting. Thank you for everyone for joining today. We will record this for all of our colleagues who are unable to step out of clinic right now and who are working the evening shift. I'm going to start the slideshow here. We want to remind everyone that we appreciate everything that you're doing through this tough time. And as we open with our guest speaker, we will be talking about the art of self-care. So our presenters today, our guest speaker, Beth Leonard Rucker with Just Be You nonprofit organization. We'll talk about her in just a minute. Our APP council chairs, outgoing Catherine and Julie, who have done an amazing job this year. Our APP council secretary, Amelia, and our outgoing APRN director, Paula Brooks, whose last day with us is August 1st. We will greatly miss Paula, and we have a little special surprise for her. So let's get started. Go to my previous slide. So today we have Beth Leonard Rucker on Zoom. Beth attended the Citadel Clinical Counseling Program and received a master's in psychology in Charleston. Creating a nonprofit organization has always been the goal, being the catalyst for Beth to continuing to further her education. She is focused on giving back to the community by helping those who want and desire the tools to unlock, inspire, and accept their full potential through love, care, and compassion. Beth, thanks for being with us today and for joining in on our conversation.
Of course, I am so honored. I'm honored to be here and with all of you APRNs and PAs down at MUSC, one of my favorite places. Thank you for having me. This is really an honor, and I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Right now is just such unprecedented times, and you guys are working, I mean, overtime. More than overtime. And, you know, for me, my father fought cancer for 30 years. And so I've been around hospitals a lot. And for me, you all have always been the heartbeat, the heroes to me. You know, the ones that are making our loved ones feel so special and so loved and cared for. So in these times, it's even crazier because not only are you the ones caring for the patients, but you're also stepping in as their loved ones, which is even more stressful, and you're having to do medicine in a totally different way. So for me, I wanted to talk today about self-care because I feel it's so important that not only now, but always that we have some kind of self-care regimen put into place. And so for me, I like to explain self-care as mindfully taking the time to care for yourself, to put yourself on the list. You know, there's a reason when we fly and the flight attendants say, if the cabin pressure goes down, put your mask on first and then take care of your loved ones. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, then we wind up being no good for anybody. So I think it's important to talk about what self-care isn't first. Self-care isn't selfish. Self-care isn't doing something that stresses you out. Like if you don't know how to meditate, you don't like to meditate, you're like, I can't quiet my mind, then that's not self-care. If you don't like yoga, or if you don't like to do something and it's becoming a chore, that's not self-care. That's not what we want you to do. We don't want you to choose something that actually brings you more stress. So I think it's important to, you know, figure out what self-care is for you. And so the basics of course, you all being in the healthcare industry, is first of all setting limits for yourself and boundaries. That's really important. The second thing is eating properly. Make sure, I know it's hard, but you take the time and you try to eat properly, and get a little exercise and sleep. Those are like, the non kind of what we should all be doing. I know that's doesn't always happen, but I think it's also important to figure out what self-care looks like for you. What brings you joy? And that's something you have to ask yourself. If it's getting up early to watch the sunrise because that fills you up, or seeing the sunset, or going for a walk, or playing your favorite song and just dancing before you get into the shower. Whatever brings you joy, that's what you need to schedule in your day to fill yourself up. I think it's also important. I know you guys are working so hard and it's hard to decompress at work, but I do think if you can sneak a minute and go into a supply cabinet and put your hand over your heart for 1 minute and just breathe deeply, inhale and exhale, talk to yourself kindly and just say, we got this. We're going to be okay. We can do this. If we just even take those sacred minutes, or get up and stretch from, if you're sitting down, or, go get a glass of water and just, talk to yourself kindly, and just be kind of like your own little cheerleader at work, where you're like, okay, we're going to be okay. We're going to do this. We're going to be great. I know this is hard, but we're going to make it through it. I think another thing, if you're sitting at your desk, keep a picture of something that really makes you happy, whether it's a picture of your family or your kids or your dog, or, something in nature, so that you take a little sneak and look at it and you kind of get a little smile on your face and you're like, okay, this is going to get me through the day. So I think we have to, when we say self-care, you actually have to schedule it and put it on your list, but make it, something you do every day. Whether it's just waking up and, writing 3 things you're grateful for, and that makes you feel good, to recognize what we're grateful for. But that's the biggest thing, I think, is making sure it's not something that's stressing you out more. Don't pick something that you're like, oh my gosh, she said I have to meditate and I don't like to meditate. So make sure it's something that doesn't bring you stress. Make sure it's something that actually fills your soul and fills your heart, and gives back to you, and be mindful about it. So don't just say, oh, I'm going to go do this, and don't really take the time to do it, and really give that time to yourself. Some things I like to do is just even take a shower, just jump in the shower. I can remember when my kids were little and I just moved here. I knew nobody. I met the neighbors across the street, this cute old couple, and I didn't have any help. I didn't have anybody helping me. And I had a baby who wouldn't stop crying. And I was like, I just want to shower. That's all I want to do. So I brought the baby across the street, my little Danny, and I'm like, hi, I'm going to go shower. Okay. And they're like, oh gosh, okay, yeah, okay. And I just needed to shower. I took a shower and I refilled myself and I felt 10,000 times better. But we have to sneak those moments, and we have to give to ourselves, or else we're going to deplete ourselves, and it's going to show up in our body. The body keeps the score. And, I know you all know this. You're in the healthcare industry, and it's like, the shoemaker's kids have no shoes. So I think it's really important to, even tonight, just start thinking about, wow, what can I do that brings me joy to give back to myself? And, you know, whether it's scheduling that yoga class or going for a walk after dinner or, you know, taking that shower, and use your commuting time too. You know, like if you commute home by yourself, whatever it is you think is going to bring you some peace on your commute, whether it's like cranking a song that you just want to sing on the top of your lungs and that makes you feel great, or you don't want any music, or you want to look to see what beautiful things you see, like count all the beauty on the way home, or listen to a podcast. But, you know, we can use that commuting time too to really decompress from the day's work. You guys are in the thick of it right now. I mean, you probably have never seen anything like this. I can't even imagine what you're going through. Um, I, I, I can't even, I'm not even going to fake that I know what you guys are going through. And so honestly, again, I am so grateful for everybody on the front lines doing the hard work and just, you know, being there for us. We can't thank you enough. There's no way that we can thank you. And so what I'm asking is that you all take care of yourselves and really, really take the time to give back to yourself, because we need you. We need you all. And we can't get through this without you. And so I don't mean that to sound selfishly, but I know that, you know, you all came into this because you're givers. That's why you do what you do. You're givers. And givers a lot of times forget to put themselves on the list. So please, please put yourself on the list. Find what brings you joy and give it to yourself. And don't feel bad about it. Don't feel guilty. Oh, I shouldn't. I can't. You must. You must put yourself on the list. It's imperative. And so I'm going to leave you with this. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself. And talk nicely to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't, you know, don't talk to yourself the way you would talk to a friend. And be your biggest cheerleader. Take care of yourself. And the world needs your light. We need you. So I hope tonight you think of something that brings you joy and you put it on the list and put your own mask on and take care of yourself first. So guys, thank you so much for having me. Like I said, I've always known you guys are the heartbeat of the hospital. You make the world go round. And I'm so honored to be here and so thankful from the bottom of my heart for all that you guys do. It's amazing work, and I thank you.
Thank you so much, Beth, for leading this discussion. I know we're so wrapped up in our work every day, and sometimes it is hard to think about ourselves when we have family, friends, neighbors, just to take care of outside of work. And so it's a great reminder just to take some time, because if we are refreshed, then we can go in and just tackle our job and be that much more for our patients.
Absolutely. And if you're not, we're really no good to anybody. You know, it reflects in our relationships and, you know, back to our children and everything. Trust me, I did it for the longest time, never putting myself on the list. So it feels good to put yourself on the list. It's so important.
Well, thanks for being here today. I know you're a busy lady. I hope you're enjoying the summer and the beach wherever you are.
Thank you. I'm right here in Charleston.
Yeah. Whenever we can sneak to the beach when it's not crowded, hopefully get some downtime when with your family. So,
well, thank you again, and thank you all again. Once again, thank you.
All right, everyone, we'll move on with our meeting here. All right, I want to introduce Catherine and Julie. These two women have done such an amazing job this year, and, you know, to put in the extra effort to the APP Council to further our profession and have such dedication. Off hours is just a huge reward, and we thank you so much for being our light this year as our co-chairs. So take it away, Catherine and Julie.
Sorry, it just froze and then finally restarted. So I have no idea what was just said in the last.
You're amazing.
So.
You're saying that you're awesome.
Oh, all right. Oh, wait, what was that, Megan? What?
You and Catherine are amazing.
Oh, okay. All right, I got it now. So we had a good year. It was a little bit anticlimactic at the end, but I guess Catherine, you want to go through the highlights?
So I will review the nurse practitioner highlights. So I think this past year we were trying to get the governor to come and read the proclamation, and he was unable to do so, but we had a individual reading ourselves out in the Horseshoe one evening during Nurse Practitioner Week. And for the nurse practitioners, we had a booth with someone that was demonstrating like massages and natural holistic products, makeup. So that's the stuff that I was doing. Julie, did you want to review what you guys did for PA week?
Actually, I think Megan, you really took the lead on that. Would you like to touch on that?
Sure. We had our PA class, our MUSC PA class involved. We had a couple of our PA students lead some Zumba instruction and some yoga out in the Horseshoe. So, you know, it's almost time to think about a new year and what that looks like for our APRN and PA weeks. And we'll have to get a little creative this year, but nonetheless, great year this past year. I think I had during Nurse Practitioner Week a hand facial. So thank you, Paula, for setting that up. That was lovely.
It was. And so we also had the magnet read designation where we had people that came over to speak to our APPs. And as far as I can tell, that we impressed them really much, a lot by what we are doing as a council, APP council. And we got our magnet read designation. So that's great. That was a huge win for all of us. And then we, the council with Christy Smith leading, we developed the APRN and the PA of the year process. And this was a blinded process where people sent in nominations, and we had a council of people to review the applications, blinded applications, and they chose 2 people, which we'll introduce later on in the presentation. So that process went really well, I thought. It was very smooth, and Christy did an amazing job with the APP of the year for both APRN and the PA.
Absolutely, that was an awful lot of work, and Christy Smith took that on and did a wonderful job with it, and she'll give you more details on that later. But as far as the 2 goals that you all had voted on for us to work, or for us to have our focus on this year, the first one was to create an advanced practice provider survival guide, and I think the APP Best Practice Center kind of knocked out the general one, and then we gathered some feedback on that and did some revisions, and then I started the process of creating one for department. So I work for neurology, so I created a more specific guide to handle neurology hires. And we were in the process, we had a meeting, the APP council, and discussed getting other departments to take that on as well, so that there would be this general welcome to MUSC orientation guide. But then when you got to your department, you would have a handy dandy guide to, you know, who do you call if your badge access doesn't work, and who's your tech support go to, and who do you call if you need reimbursement for CMEs or something like that, so that each department would have something specific like that, and very detailed as well, something that couldn't possibly be tackled at the university level, but would need to be done department by department. So we have been working on those. the wind got taken a little bit out of our sails at the very end, but you know, we're hopeful that that process will continue over the next year. And then the lead APP's job description was something we looked at what Cleveland Clinic uses. They have larger numbers, and they have a pretty sophisticated system of lead APPs and manager APPs and then director level. So we looked at that to say, like, what would make sense for MUSC, and made some recommendations about that. You know, certainly it's not in the purview of the council to simply implement these positions, but we wanted to create something really concrete that then could be taken up to leadership, to make sure that people who are needed to do APP focused work are in the right position, and that they're recognized and reimbursed for those roles. So that we have accomplished, and we'll continue to provide feedback and guidance on that process as it moves ahead.
Excellent job, ladies. So as a thank you for this year, I'll let Paula go ahead and congratulate her APRN.
We'd like to congratulate Catherine Jicky Harris for APRN chair for the year. And we have a plaque here, which we will give you when we can come closer than social distance and will allow. We'll clean it off really nice before we hand it to you.
Yeah.
You saying that it's going to collect a lot of dust during this time?
Yeah.
I'll have to find you a college of nursing, find your office.
But thank you very much for all the hard work that you've done to help continue this council growing.
Thank you, Paula.
And your co-partner, Catherine, to Julie DeMarteau. Thank you, Julie. You guys are a dream team. Thanks for all your hard work. You guys are great. And then, of course, the secretary position, which keeps all of us in line. Amelia, thank you for your hard work and keeping us organized and taking all our minutes. It's been a great team. Been great to work with everyone this year.
And so without further ado, I made sure that Megan added outgoing in parentheses next to my name, lest there be any confusion. But yes, as of July 1st, these are the go-to gals. Rochelle Judd is your APRN co-chair, and Elizabeth Poindexter is the PA co-chair. And they have been serving as co-chair-elect for the last year, so they are up to speed and have already hit the ground running. And we'll certainly be here to help in any way we can. And I hope they'll get a lot of interest from other APPs who are interested in joining the council. The more hands on deck, then the more projects we can take on, and you know, the faster we can move ahead with things. So good luck, ladies.
Welcome, Rochelle and Elizabeth.
And then also our secretary for the year will be Laura Milligan, and our co-chair-elects, Christy Smith, who you'll be hearing from in a minute, because she had done such an excellent job as our secretary, and then as the APP of the year committee chair, and also Kate Smalley will be the co-chair for the PA position.
I'm just going to jump in and say a quick hi, and just kind of add that Rochelle and I are excited about, you know, keeping the APP Council going and active during COVID, even though it's a really chaotic time. So our goals are definitely to be involved still.
I will say, I told these ladies, like, take it slow, don't take on anything. It's a big year, you know, don't go crazy. And they were basically like, to heck with you, Julie. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna go. And so you know, great energy and enthusiasm.
Love it.
And then, so Christy Smith, your APRN co-chair-elect, and we'll talk to you about all the amazing work that she did with the APP Award of the Year. And I will just mention that the development of that award, while we put it into practice in the last year, that was really spearheaded by Kelly Garber, who was a previous APP co-chair. She and Michelle Nevsky did a lot of work on that. Really the lion's share of the work on that during their turn at the helm. So we want to extend our appreciation to them as well. And I can't wait to hear from Christy as she talks about the winners from this year.
Hey everyone, this is Christy Smith. Basically, as far as criteria goes, you have to have at least 2 years of employment at MUSC to be nominated for a APRN or PA of the year. And then in the submissions, we have anyone from the MUSC system that would like to nominate someone that they work with. And in the submission, we would like them to provide examples of how this APP has gone above and beyond in the 5 standards that MUSC would like everyone to adhere to and show through their practice. We had some really amazing submissions for the 2019 year, and I was the one that blinded everyone, so I got to go through and read them individually and really learn some pretty cool stuff about the NPs and PAs and CRNAs that we all work with, and certified nurse midwives as well. We had representation across the board as far as nominations go, and there were some pretty amazing things I got to read about. The 2019 year awards went to Rachel Hanna, who's a PA in the CVICU, and Tina Dvorin Baker, who is an NP in the neurology department. And we had a little ceremony for them at our holiday meeting this past December, and we were able to award them with some goodies. And we hope to get this back up and running with some nominations in September. So we'll be looking for some emails about that soon. And we will have another recognition during the holiday party.
Thank you so much, Christy. You did such an amazing job with this. Tina, I think I saw your face. You want to say a quick hi?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
How's your world these days?
It's a challenge, but it's actually had its ups. It's had its ups too. It really has. I'm so impressed by our patients who've made really a lot of effort to get online and learn about technology and figuring out ways to connect. And I've been really impressed by our patients. That's been very cool.
That's awesome. You're doing well?
Yeah, I am.
Good. Thanks for being on today, and congratulations again on this award.
Thank you.
Huge honor.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I think the whole process was very cool. I think the whole idea of it being blinded, that, you know, sort of like being on The Voice, you know, they just saw your accomplishments. I thought that was very cool.
Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
We're going to move to your counterpart. Rachel, are you on? I know you're in the mountains somewhere. Are you available?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Rachel.
I have like 2% on my phone, but hopefully I won't get cut off. But yeah, I think this is all great as well. And I think it's brought a lot of kind of attention to all the APPs around MUSC as well. I know people around the unit in the CVICU have loved that there's an award out there. And some of my counterparts are like, ooh, what can I do to, you know, get recognized? So everyone's done a really great job of working on all of this stuff. So thank y'all so much.
Thanks for being on. Have a nice trip.
Thanks.
All right, Rochelle, you're up.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to share our goals for this year that were voted on as kind of the top 2 goals. And so our first goal is for a department-specific APP orientation guide, which we had mentioned with Julie before that, you know, we started to develop and we have out there in the universe, but each department kind of needs a specific one. And because each of our departments has a few different numbers and people to reach, and the way we do things is a little different. And so our goal is for at least 50% of the departments to have this completed by May of 2021. And this could be led by a lead APP if the area has one, if each department has one, or whoever is the designated APP to kind of run this, to help fill it out and something to give out to the new people. And it's a good way to introduce yourself. So we're hoping at least 50% do that, ideally even more, but 50% is our goal. For the second goal, we actually want to develop an APP clinical ladder, guidelines or criteria for this. And so our goal is really to have this clinical ladder to demonstrate your value to your department and the organization by May of 2021. This clinical ladder can help categorize APRNs and PAs into levels based on their years of experience, project management, quality improvement, etc. And sometimes it could be tied to monetary awards or promotions, which could be a huge win in the future as well for all of our APPs who kind of go that extra mile. So we're hoping to help recognize you.
So we just want to kind of review some of the projects that Megan and I have been involved with this past year. It started early with changes in the medical staff rules and regulations, as well as the bylaws. This was to run parallel to our changes in our state laws so that we could provide the best care following both the bylaws, the rules and regulations that ran with the state laws. And there was about 60 changes we've made in those bylaws as well as med staff rules. And this, I believe, is the first time that any changes were made by APPs. So this was a huge win. Again, the APP of the Year award was an amazing project. And again, Christy, thank you so much for all the hard work you put into this, because you really made it happen. We all got so tied up, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a sec, we have to do this APP of the Year award. How are we going to do it? And Christy just took off and took over and did an amazing job. We also updated our scorecard so it would run parallel to what the physician was seeing, and could break down our RVUs in relation to shared versus independent visits, which was more accurate, because the one that Megan and I had initially developed, they were pulling data from different sources. So I believe this is a much more accurate way of looking at your RVUs. With last year's council, the APP provider photo, well, last year's council worked on getting the APP photos on Find a Doc, and we expanded that to make sure that the photos were also included in Epic, so that when you go into the Epic chart, the photos are available. And Christine Kent was also very helpful in guiding that. We continued with the APP dinners, and I do hope there were 2 or 3 volunteers willing to take on this once I leave. So hopefully these will continue. I think they were very helpful. There was a lot of good information that was provided, and also it really allowed APPs to get together and spend some quality time, not at work, and just discuss different issues that and just teamwork. So I think those were very helpful. Again, we put together this very detailed onboarding orientation guide, which I think is not only helpful when the APP joins the organization, but it's something that they can refer back to over the years. So this should be distributed to the APP on Hire, but also is posted on the APP Best Practice Center website. So it is something that you can definitely refer back to. And there are things, when I was putting this together, there are things that I didn't even know about, and found these links. Oh, that was my dog, sorry. So at some point when you have a second, just kind of take a look at it, and you'll be surprised at all the information that is easily found, rather than trying to sift through our website, our MUSC website. Megan and I also worked on the online student application, really making sure that it was, for one, it was online, so that instead of just a student calling and saying, hey, I want to do a precept, I need a preceptor for a semester. Now there's an official standardized process in which they apply online. In addition, we were able to help implement this once it was allowed in, by CNS, the student notes in Epic. So now these notes can be utilized rather than just an extra work for the student. So the APPs can now sign these notes and these notes can be utilized in their documentation. And finally, what I'm talking about was MP and PA week. And Megan can mention again something for the PA week, MP week. Again, we did the makeup or facials. We also had a chef come and distribute cookies. We had a photo booth in which we had some pictures taken over at Art. And I hope that there'll be a lot more over the next couple of years of APPs contributing and joining in part of this, because it's really important not only to celebrate yourselves, but also so that the organization as well as the patients and visitors also recognize APPs. And this is a great way of doing that.
So to continue on with the work, Paula and I, over the last couple years, have sat on the Rvu Benchmarking Committee, and this is in conjunction with the College of Medicine to identify the different areas where we practice and looking at the national trends to make sure that the benchmarks that we administer here through the departments are right sized for the type of work that you do. This work has become a lot more detailed, lots of improvements in the last 2 years as we've worked with Sullivan Cotter and other MGMA resources to take a look to what that looks like. So when you hear about the benchmarking, know that you do have representation on this committee. It's not perfect, and it's still a challenge, as we know the funds flow system and the way we do get paid our bonus, and we look forward to refining that in the near future. We are actually starting to meet this fall. As far as the APP holiday party, we joined hands, of course, with the council, and we had a great holiday party that we will continue this December, I hope, in person with good food and good friends. So let's cross our fingers on that. APP Billing and Coding Series, our next presentation is August 12th, and we have these recorded, and my goal over the next month or two is to have these in one place on the website so that we can go back and look to see what resources, if you need a billing refresher. Our compliance team was amazing to lead and develop these presentations, and we were the organizers behind it. But it's really important as we talk about productivity and elevating our profession to be able to bill to the max that we can in our optimization role. It's good for our professional development and for future ways that we can pay you, especially within the clinical ladder. Looking at benchmarks may be one piece of the pie in how we can reward the APPs. Magnet redesignation. So I know Catherine spoke to this, a lot of the work on the council and a lot of the work that Paula did with the APRN law was paramount. And I'm not sure if all of you know this, but Paula was one of the 8 exemplars that was named specifically for the magnet redesignation, which is huge. So what does that say? That says that we are doing great work here with the APPs, and we couldn't have done that without you. It's so important to be involved and to develop these projects because we all know that this really affects engagement. So congratulations to the APRNs and congratulations to Paula on this. This is awesome work. Some of the other emergency items that we have developed, which we've sent out through the newsletters, have been the MUSC virtual care redeployment. So many of you have picked up extra hours to fulfill the needs of our state through the virtual urgent care with the COVID testing. We cannot thank you enough. This is awesome work. And hopefully you have your paychecks right-sized at this point. If not, let us know. But this was great for our profession to jump in and to lead the cause. So this is like 98% APP run within the state. That's pretty darn cool. So congratulations to those that have stepped up, completed the training, and continue to do the odd hours in addition to your core work. It's huge. The emergency department ICU backup plans and the tiered staffing plans. Paula and I, early March, spent many hours together looking at tiered staffing plans that are still in place for emergency staffing purposes. Those are sort of on the back burner right now as we focus on the coverage for the ICU, but we have that in place in case we need it. And then the emergency joint order, the Board of Nursing and the Board of Medical Examiners waiving signature requirements. So Paul and I were on the phone with Bob Horner with the Board of Nursing and Adam Russell with the Board of Medical Examiners. And at the end of the day, what this means is that any APP within the health system or within your health system can work without borders and not further designate a collaborating or supervising physician. And that we have key practice agreements and scopes of practice to work off of within 3 key areas, which include the ICU, the ER, and the inpatient floor. So as we start redeploying, which we have a little bit through our ICU and inpatient teams, these will be very useful to eliminate a lot of the paperwork required, as we know for both of our professions that can be just arduous and a lot of work. So that was really neat to get going. And then the last thing, which Paul and I are really excited about, is because of you and the work that you have done through the consult service, we provide recommendations that increase and optimize the utilization of the APRN and PA for professions over 3 fiscal years, everyone. Now, please listen to this. This is amazing. We have increased net collections $9.5 million in 3 fiscal years based on your work and the consult service. That's jaw-dropping. We were able to publish that dually in the Nurse Practitioner Journal and the PA Journal this past month in June. And so again, because of your work, we as an APP Best Practice Center, and because of all of you, have been put on the national platform. We're actually speaking about this specifically in September at an Apex National APP Leadership Conference. So kudos to you. I mean, this is hard work. This is reinventing your clinic. This is making sure that the dollars are coming into the department so that we can grow as a system. And we all know that healthcare is not always about money, it's about the patients, but it also increases the access to care. So the second part of that $9.5 million is that our access for APPs and seeing new patients, APPs specifically seeing new patients, was through the roof. So again, this opened up access to care. And Tina, you're one of the people that know from doing, telehealth and stroke how important this is for our system with the types of patients that you see. So everyone has done their part here. So thank you, thank you. So this is the really hard part of the presentation. So Paula Brooks, our APRN director, was promoted and is taking a APRN and PA director role at Bay State Health. And she starts officially, Paula, August 18th, right? And your last day here, 17th. And so Paula's last day is actually technically August 1st here. And so, man, there's been a lot of great work done. I just
wanted to, thank you all. Everything we did couldn't have been done without you and all your support to both Megan and I to make it all possible. We couldn't have changed the law if I didn't have, if there wasn't the APPs behind me. We couldn't have had, the PA APRN of the year without you guys behind us. Everything Megan and I were able to do is really because of you. So it shouldn't be congratulations to me. It should be congratulations to all of you. And thank you for what you've done to make our lives much, I'm not going to say easier because it was no easy ride, that's for sure. It really was, it was hard because, here you've never had directors, and then these two girls come in and start getting in your business. And, it's difficult. It was, you accepted us, you took us in and worked with us to make us really successful. So thank you all for all that you do. and keep doing all that you do, because you really are what MUSC is about.
Thank
And
you,
that's
Paula,
all
so
I'm gonna
much.
say, because this is bittersweet for me. It's hard to leave.
We will really, really miss you. And we thank you for your hard work and dedication. It's been an awesome partnership.
Thank you.
Paula, we're going to miss you.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely. So we also voted kind of the best times for everybody to have the most participation possible. We really need more attendance in these meetings from our APPs. This is your counsel, your voice. And so I encourage those of you who are listening, if you're interested in joining, please contact Laura Milligan. She's the secretary who can kind of get you connected with all of our emails and have you join our group. From this, the whatever that went out, can't think of the name of it right now, that we voted, and it looks like Tuesdays at 4:30 are the popular time, and that we will meet once a month, and it's kind of every other month. So it starts in August, and then it's every other month, and we'd love to have more participation for our amazing group and getting great things done. So please consider joining.
So as we close today, there's some leaders within the organization that Paul and I felt needed to be mentioned through the COVID redeployment, and as we anticipate a growing need for volunteers to step up to the plate to cover our ICU, which is unfortunately rapidly expanding, but wanted to highlight some specific folks. So for the CRNAs that are on, there are about 15 to 20 of you, as you know, that have actually redeployed to the COVID ICU as an RN. And so we never really would have thought this would have happened, but I can tell you our Chief Nursing Officer, Patty Hart, is extremely thankful, and the ICU attendings are extremely thankful. And the glue that you have been able to participate within the ICU team as an RN, what used to be way back in the day for some of you, has been just bar none. So want to really highlight those CRNAs who have transitioned temporarily to this RN COVID ICU role. The second are the APPs who've been redeployed from their neurology and neurosurgery home inpatient roles. So after ICU APPs that are ready to take on this monster of a virus, we have some really key inpatient folks that jumped in right away and said, let me help, let me help. And those women were Jamie Folsom, Sarah Creed, Carrie Thompson, Emily Dudlick, V. Nugent, and Amber Thompson from neurology and neurosurgery. Thank you so very much. You have buffered our schedule for 2 weeks to allow us to prepare wisely for the August 1st opening of the new ICU that backfills the old Children's Hospital. Also want to thank our ICU APPs. There's a lot of pressure on you because you have the training right in the ICU. And so many of you have taken on additional shifts to cover the COVID ICUs that are evolving. This is exhausting work, and we thank you for covering the additional shifts when you're able to. Roxanne Reiser, so she is in the ER, and she has led the whole virtual telehealth care initiative for the state of South Carolina. And so Roxanne was on the trainings, and she continues to help with scheduling and facilitating any clinical questions along with Dr. Ed O'Brien. So also want to thank the 100+ APPs that are, again, staffing those hours in the MUSC telehealth urgent care platform. A thank you to our ED APPs who are, doing disaster triage in the ER, who are very much at risk for getting sick. And so we are thinking about you and want to support you, and just and thank you for your braveness as you triage these COVID patients and ensure that they land in the right spot in the hospital. And then two last really important folks, Stephanie Peterson. She actually works in child abuse peds. She's an APRN, and she actually was another one that transferred to the RN COVID ICU role because she specifically has RN ICU training. So thank you, Stephanie. This was a huge transition, and we thank you. and then Sarah Peglow, who's a PA in neurology, who is transitioning temporarily to also cover the COVID ICU. So there's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot to prepare for. And so Paula and I thank you for being patient with us with all our surveys and red caps. We've changed and evolved our planning techniques, and it's been difficult, but easy again with your responses and your generosity with your time. So with that being said, we close our meeting. Thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you to our council, APP exec leaders. Thank you for listening. For those that are joining us today, we really encourage you to join our council meetings on Zoom every other month. I think this will be a much more friendly, work-friendly, life balance option for those that can hop on, listen in, and give some feedback to our new leaders this year. So thank you all. And if you have any questions regarding today's council open meeting, please email any of the leaders on this presentation. We'll be happy to help. With that being said, have a great night and be safe.
Bye all.
Everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Paula. I'll miss you.
Hi, Christy. Thank you. You all have my forwarding emails. You can shut the recording.